Health Expedition Log, entry number 4. This is how I type. I am only now realizing that this is a vlog and not a blog. Oops. Welcome back, friends, family, strangers. For those of you watching who don't know me, I am Erin, and I'm here to share my health expedition logs with you. My own personal hell, if you will, but it's just hell with one L because it could always be worse, and also health expedition log. That's how acronyms work, you know. So I started this YouTube channel for a few different reasons, one of which is to field questions from friends, family, loved ones, and now apparently strangers, because I thought that it was appropriate to share it with everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments. I do also have my email linked to the YouTube account, so you can send me a message there as well. This is the part of the video where I plug my podcast. Sharing is Caring podcast. Listen to it on most podcast platforms and not YouTube. Sorry. It's good though. It's fun. This is just an easier way for me to communicate with everyone instead of repeating myself a ton of times. Also, I think that it's important to be able to show my daily struggles. I haven't done that a lot so far, but I do plan on being able to record myself in my most extreme moments of weakness. So the next time I'm having difficulty walking to an extreme, I plan on recording some of that so that you can see it. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, the past few times that I have experienced that, I wasn't thinking about, oh, hey, I should record this. I was thinking about, oh, hey, that freaking hurts. So I don't have any of that footage yet, but it has been brought to my attention that in these videos, I definitely don't seem like I'm sick. And I have a lot to say about that because I know more than anybody. Today is physical therapy day. These are pom-poms. I am pretty excited, but also really nervous to get started with physical therapy. Although today is my first session, so what I assume will happen will mostly be assessment. So hopefully I'm not too worn out for the weekend. I'm so sick of being worn out. I mean, who am I kidding? Walking across my house wears me out, so the odds of this wearing me out are pretty high. Honestly, just getting in the building is going to be a workout for me. But you've got to make progress, right? I do plan on giving a little bit of an update later on after I finish physical therapy. We'll see how I'm feeling. Hopefully I can hop back on here and record a little bit, let you know how I'm doing. You'll also see how disheveled I get throughout the day. So that'll be fun. But for now, I do have a few things to talk about. This is probably going to be a pretty random update, but for a vlog about my health expedition, that adds up. I am not typically a very linear person, so I'm all over the place. I'm gonna say some things about this, I'm gonna say some things about that, and yeah, I haven't got any questions yet at the time of me filming this video, so I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, and hopefully you care to listen. And if you don't, that's fine too. With what I have going on with the current diagnosis of MS, the symptoms that I've been experiencing are not your traditional sickness, right? So when you're sick, you think about your common cold, your flu symptoms. I mean, we've all been through, this pandemic. So, obviously the first things on our mind is like COVID symptoms, like sore throats, if you have a stuffy nose, or, your head feels stuffy, your sinuses are messed up. Maybe you have like a cough and you have like chest congestion. Maybe you have nausea, vomiting, like things like that. That's what my brain, and likely yours too, associates with being sick. When you think, oh, I'm sick, that's what it is. And it's that fever, it's those aches, that fevery ache. And those aren't necessarily things that I'm experiencing. And because of that, I'm sure it's difficult for you to understand, but it is equally, if not more, confusing for me to understand. And I think that's where that disconnect in my head, where, I'm saying that, like, in my head, I don't think that I'm sick. And that's where I overdo my limits. I'm not able to find my limits quite yet. And it's because I don't have those common symptoms of being ill. And because of that, I don't consider myself to be sick. But something that we don't really think about is that there are so many different diseases and illnesses, ailments that show completely different symptoms from what the common cold is. Within that realm is me. I'm in the middle of this is not common, like, to the brain. We don't process this as being ill. That's not to say that I don't believe that everything that I'm experiencing is real. I do. I have struggled in the past questioning whether or not it's in my head. For example, when my body started going numb and my legs started getting really weak and I had that really strange gait, I was having issues mentally believing whether or not I was faking it versus me actually not being able to walk. There's something about losing control over one of your limbs and not being able to take what's in your head and translate it into your leg to be able to walk like a normal human being that doesn't make sense in the moment. I got really frustrated with a doctor at one point. The doctors, I don't know, it's a vicious cycle. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to go back to the doctor for this. I'm done. It's probably all in my head, right? Like, I'm just imagining this. Jeff, sit down, watch me walk. I'm going to focus on it and I'm going to be able to walk normal. So I stand back at the back of the living room and I start walking towards him. And in that moment, I break down. I start bawling. I start crying because I wasn't walking normal. I wasn't able to control it with my mind. And that made me realize, hey, this isn't in your head. This is real. And you need to go back to the doctor for this. Now, I don't always have moments like that. After that, I started believing myself more, which is something that I think that we can all relate to. It's hard to believe our bodies when they're talking to us because we have spent so many years not listening, and trying to listen is really difficult. You really have to tune in, and that's not easy to do overnight. So it definitely is a process. For me, I still struggle. I think the reason why I'm having difficulty processing is because my brain isn't associating my symptoms with illness, when in reality, that's exactly what's happening. So I may not look sick right now, but I'm sick. When I told my husband that I wanted to get footage of me trying to walk, my struggles, he said, I think that's a good idea, but I think you should think about it a little bit more, because the people who are going to be watching these videos are your loved ones, people who care about you, and it's not easy to watch. And I think that moment put a lot of things in perspective for me as far as how this is not only affecting me, but it's affecting my husband. It's not that I haven't thought about how he feels about this. I've apologized numerous times, which is not fair. Like, he doesn't want me to apologize. He gets frustrated for the amount of times that I apologize because, it's not my fault that I'm sick. But I apologize because I feel guilty that his life is changing, that he's 34 years old and having to help his wife get from the couch to the bathroom. That's sad. That's just really sad. Frankly, it sucks. It just sucks. And it's unfair, and it makes me feel guilty, and it makes me feel bad that he's having to experience that he's having to see that. If I put myself in his shoes, if I had to watch him struggle the way that I've struggled, that would be one of the hardest things that I would ever have to do. That would be way harder than what I'm going through right now. I just emotionally cannot fathom how it feels to watch the love of your life struggle. And I'm lucky. I'm lucky I have him, and I'm proud of him. He has stayed so strong, and it means the world to me. God, I am emotional today. I wasn't having breathing issues, and now I'm starting to tear up, and that's causing some breathing issues. And calm down, Erin. Next, I thought I would share with you guys some of the changes that have happened in my immediate life, my day-to-day life, my self-care life. So I've already shared with you that I do use a cane to get around, which is kind of cool. I don't know. I'm just embracing it now. I used to think, like, no, those are for old ladies. You're not going to use a cane. Come on, you're stronger than that. You're younger than that, But now I'm like, yeah, but like, if it's fancy, then I'm fancy. So I'm embracing it, and I'm going to start a collection, and I'm really excited about the collection of canes. They're expensive though, so that collection is going to be put on hold for a while. So I get around with a cane, and my energy has been so low, and my, honestly, functionality, the coordination, abilities, we'll go with abilities. I don't think that's the word I was looking for. I have been hindered enough that at this moment, I have not been back to work. I'm currently unable to groom dogs. As you can imagine, it is a very physical job. That's not something that I'm capable of doing right now, which is unfortunate, but I'm holding on. I am self-employed, so unfortunately, I also do not have any PTO, which means I am not bringing any income in right now, but I am certainly racking up the bills, which is very stressful, but we're gonna get through it. I believe. With that, you would think, oh, Erin, you probably have a ton of free time. Taking care of myself is like a full-time job. Doing small day-to-day activities takes me a lot longer than what it would have before. I can't stand for long periods of time, which means that not only do I now have shower bars that we got to help me get in and out of the shower or bathtub, but I also now have a shower chair. Pretty disappointing. I didn't think that at 34 years old I would be shopping for a shower chair, but here we are. I really didn't want one. I put it off. I put it off for a long time, and then Halloween weekend happened, and I was like, I shouldn't have put this off. So I bought one. And I gotta say, since using it, I don't know why shower chairs aren't universal for everyone. Like, they're fantastic. You get to sit down while you get clean. Also, super convenient for shaving your legs. Like, who knew? Who knew? People probably knew. People probably knew. It was just another one of those moments where I was being stubborn and I didn't want to do it because that meant that I was sick. So, along with my shower chair, anytime I need to do my makeup or do my hair, I also need a stool to sit on. I can't stand for that long. On nights that I feel good enough to help out with dinner, I also set a stool to help because standing there would be way too much. Not all nights I can do that. There are a lot of nights, most nights, that I don't have the energy. And, you know, there's this trend that I'm experiencing that by 4 o'clock, I am at my worst for the day. So I'm really good in the mornings. And all of these videos I've been recording first thing in the morning because it's difficult. So we'll see what happens with my update after PT, because that could be rough. I forgot what I was talking about. So this is another problem that I've been having. My brain keeps going. And I lose my thoughts. I lose my words. From time to time, I forget things that just happened, and that's concerning to me. Hopefully, I can remain sharp, but we'll see. So what was I talking about? By 4 o'clock in the day, this is another reason why I am concerned for physical therapy today, because my physical therapy starts at 4:30. Now, that doesn't seem like the best time for me to be doing physical therapy, but I'm not a physical therapist. Maybe it's the best time. I don't know. I don't think that that's how that works, but I guess we'll see. Another day-to-day struggle that I am coping with is that I can't take my dog for walks. I can't even walk to the front gate without being fully worn down. Now, he's a little walker. He loves to go for walks, and he will not do his business in our yard patio area because that is considered part of his home. And he is way too classy to be going to the bathroom in his home. So also, I think it's just his way of getting us to take him on more walks. But because of that, my husband is having to pick up all the slack. He is taking our dog for 3 walks a day. That means that first thing in the morning, he walks the dog. In the afternoon, he comes home from work to walk the dog. Then, when he gets home from work later in the evening, He walks the dog. And right now, I'm going to stop myself from saying walks the dog because that feels really impersonal. And Mr. Bones is my baby. He is not the dog, he is the baby. He's got to walk the baby. And that makes me feel terrible for many reasons. One of which, that physical activity, that outdoor freshness was so meaningful to me. Where we live kind of like in a little canyon area. It's beautiful and secluded out here. We don't even have sidewalks. It's just oak trees everywhere, and there are lots of ranches around, so there's horses and stuff. And it's like getting to see, like getting to be in nature. And I haven't got to be in nature for a long time. Also, it's still freaking hot here. Like, it's in the 80s, and I think maybe last week it was in the 90s, and I'm pretty sensitive to the heat. So being outside, just going outside, is not something that comes easy for me. Even just hanging out on the patio, it can become too much. And whereas I have done that several times, and that has helped me mentally, I think, I literally went from going on bike rides multiple days a week out in nature. We would go for like 4-mile rides. I went from doing that plus walking my dog every single morning, every single afternoon. I went from being so physically active and spending so much time outside to being a little indoor recluse, and not by choice. I don't want to be trapped inside. I'm going insane. Actually, the main reason I'm looking forward to physical therapy is because I get to get out of the house, and that's very exciting for me. Like, let's go for a ride. I want to get out of here. It's been really difficult to go from being so physically active and outside to being a homebody. It's not the life for me. And this is another pride thing. I have been expressing to friends that I would like to get out of the house. I want to go do things, maybe just go walk around a craft store or something. The problem with that is that I can't walk around. Walking around is too much for me. And they're like, oh, well, they make those walkers that like you can also sit on, and like you can scoot yourself around or whatever. And I know that they're right. I've had multiple people suggest this to me. But that's more money that I have to spend on equipment to take care of myself. Stuff that my insurance doesn't cover. They didn't cover my shower chair. They didn't cover my shower bars. They didn't cover my cane. That's out of pocket. And 2, there's that part of me that's like, I am 34 years old. I don't need one of those old lady walkers that they can sit on and take a rest. But Erin, you do. You do need one of those, and you need to stop fighting it, because your life would be a lot easier if you did. And I think that the thing is that in my brain, I'm like, if I succumb to buying all of these things that I I see as old lady items, then that feels like giving up. And Erin, I'm here to tell you, this is me getting real with me. If this was somebody else saying these things, you would argue with them that that is not true. That is not giving up. Those are just things that are going to assist you on your healing expedition, on your healing journey. It does not mean that you're giving up. If you were giving up, you wouldn't be making these videos. This is not giving up, Erin. You need to take care of yourself. And sometimes taking care of yourself means that you have to have things that you wouldn't otherwise want. And you need to accept that. And now that I've lectured myself, maybe I've talked myself into it. Maybe I should price point these things and double check with my insurance to see if they will cover it. Because double checking never hurts anybody. But also, that is exactly what you would be saying to somebody else if they were in your position. Take your own advice. Erin. something else that I would like to point out to myself and apparently all of you, because I'm making these videos for you too. So how far I've come since the hospital. When I was in the hospital, now granted, I did have a big old catheter in my neck, which was super uncomfortable. It was painful and it was itchy, which we already went over. I'm allergic to the sticky. Circumstances were different, but in the hospital, I couldn't even brush my own hair. I was also connected to a lot of things, and that makes it difficult. But regardless, my husband, he brushed my hair for me. And it was a really sweet moment, but also really sad because I couldn't do it myself. But you know what? Look at me now. I can take care of myself. Sure, I have to sit in a stool to do it. But who cares? So I have to sit down to take care of myself and make myself feel better. I mean, look at my makeup. I did this today. As I'm modeling, I feel my chin hairs coming in. So there are a lot of positives that I need to be focusing on. It's difficult to focus on those all the time, but I'm going to make an effort to focus on them. Post-physical therapy. Here I am in all my glory. So I just got home from physical therapy, where my very nice physical therapist, Brando, helped me out, gave me some breathing exercises to help strengthen my diaphragm, and some basic exercises to strengthen my hips and my core. Not a lot physical was done today. It's hard because without having seen the doctor for treatment yet, we don't really know where to go with the physical therapy. We don't really know my limits, which is what I've been talking about in all of these videos, is that I don't even know what my limits are. So that makes physical therapy very interesting. Honestly, it was pretty discouraging just because I haven't put to test what I'm actually capable of. And I hope that it helps, because walking a short distance, even with a cane, I'm so slow. I'm so slow. I've cried in front of strangers a lot lately, so I don't know why it's so awkward to cry on a video. But it's hard. It's discouraging to just know how little I can do, but it's also encouraging to know that I'm taking the steps to be able to do more than what I can right now. So that sucks, but I'll get better. I'll get better. I'm going to get better. More physical therapy next week, and Brando knows that I want to get back on my bike, so he's gonna help me get there. And hopefully I'll be able to walk Mr. Bones soon. I'm sure that he would be very happy about that. Bonnie says, "Get better, Mama. I want to go for a walk." He hears a cheese bag. Bye, Bonnie. Anyway, I'm glad that I recorded the other stuff earlier because I'm tired. I'm done. I'm going to lay down. That's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, comments, anything to provoke conversation, which honestly, if you just say one word to me, it's probably going to provoke conversation because I talk a lot. Go ahead and write a comment, send an email, message me privately, whatever. If you want to be notified for when I post new videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I think that's how it works. Again, never had a YouTube channel before, so hopefully I'll have some positive updates for you guys soon. Until then, Godspeed!